instructions, it is a correct egusi soup. Guys, if you want to know how to cook it, keep on watching. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Wow, it's 6:37 in the morning and I'm about to make some egusi soup. So I'm just prepping my ingredients. So let's have a look what we got. We have got some frozen sheep mix with some pomo. I've got some stockfish here. We've got our egusi. This is how it comes in the UK. This is already blended egusi. It comes in these packs. I've got my native Maggi or iru. It's dried iru. I don't use crayfish, so I use ground smoked fish because we eat kosher and crayfish is not kosher, so I use that instead of crayfish. I've got my bell pepper. I've got my habanero pepper. These are frozen. Not so many because the kids are going to eat. My onions, my dried fish, which is barracuda, and that's it. Oh, I'm using kale. Normally I use spinach, but today I fancy kale. So my meat and my pomo are frozen, they're already cooked. So the only thing I need to do is to boil my stockfish, and then later I'll add the dried fish. Yeah. So I'll leave that to boil for a little bit. So guys, so many people have asked me about this contraption here. So for those of you that don't know, it's an Aga oven. So it's an oven that is essentially inside of it. It's one huge piece of metal that gets heated up. It stays on all the time and you can't control it. So this is the hot kind of hob, and it's very, very hot. So you use this one to bring the water or whatever you're cooking to the boil, and then you use this cooler one, which is far cooler, to keep it at that temperature. And somehow, without controls and things, you're able to cook things quite nicely. It's very old, as you can see. And then we have the same things in the oven. So I'm not sure how clean they are inside, but this one is the cooler oven and this one's the hotter oven. So you can use the hot oven to cook as normal, and you can use the lower oven to boil overnight, to keep food warm, and that kind of stuff. And I often make European soups overnight, and just put things in the bottom oven. The next morning, fine, it's cooked and it's lovely. And I just love to use that. I do have a conventional oven. However, I only ever use that in the summer. And the reason why, because this Aga stays on, this oven, it stays on all the time. It gets incredibly hot in this room. In fact, this Aga also heats up our hot water. We do have a hot water boiler, but this also heats up our hot water. And this room gets so hot. So in the summer here in England, it becomes unbearable. So I switch it off and use the conventional oven. This is a nice little thing that I want to show you. Let's see. Okay, so basically, because it gets really hot in the kitchen, we have this contraption here, which is something to hang your clothes on. And basically you hang your clothes in the evening on this, the next morning they are dry. So that's one of the nice things about being able to use the heat from this room. It's quite cool, isn't it? I love this oven. It's super old. It's probably, I don't know, I would say it's like 60, 70 years old, even more than that. But I love it. So guys, this is my palm oil. You can see it's got the Nigerian flag on it. But guess what? Look where it said it's made. Product of Malaysia. How funny is that? You'd be fooled. Because I was like, whenever I go to buy palm oil in the shops, I always look out for the Nigerian flag. I'm like, yeah, let me support Nigerian products. But it's not a Nigerian product at all, is it? Okay guys, so while I'm boiling the stockfish, I'm just bringing my meat and my pomo and my cow foot back to life. Oh my god, this smells so good. Smells so good. One of the reasons why I boil the meat and then freeze it is because in this house, if I dared boil a pot of meat and leave it on the table, walked out of the room, I'm telling you, by the time I get back, it will be gone. People will be picking from the pot. So what I do is, I boil all the meats, I put them in the freezer, and when I'm just about to cook soup, that's when I defrost it, so. Okay guys, let's keep things moving. Right now, I am going to prepare my veggies. So I'm gonna start off by chopping my onions. I don't like them too big, so I'm gonna go in there again and make them into tinier pieces. I don't like in a pot of soup, Nigerian soup, ever being able to perceive or to see pieces of onions. So I like to keep them pretty small, yeah. So the onions are all done. And now I'm gonna do bell pepper. So with bell pepper, I never like to include the seeds. So I'm just gonna get rid of the seeds. Make sure, I don't know, I find them bitter if they're in any soup or stew or whatever. I don't know, I think it adds a level of bitterness. And I'm just gonna rough cut these, because I'm gonna blend them anyway, so. But just make it easier for my blender. So, to cut these into pieces. All done, and just slice the habanero peppers, and then I'm going to blend all that together with a little bit of water. So now I'm going to blend my peppers with I've got my bell peppers, my habanero peppers, put them in the blender with a little bit of water, and I'm going to blend them. I'm not sure if I put enough water there. We'll see. So guys, we are good to go. I've got my palm all ready. I've got my onions and my iru, and that's what I'm gonna do first. I'm gonna fry all that together. Don't you just love the smell of palm oil when it's heated? It just smells amazing, and the color. So I'm now going to add my onions and my iru, and I'm just gonna fry that up a bit. Oh my God, the smell is amazing. There's something about native Maggi or iru beans that just, I don't know, it just adds that amazing flavor, right? So next in the blended peppers with a little bit of water. I'm gonna let that reduce, give it a good stir, and then we'll come back to it. So now I am going to add some stock and leave that to simmer. A little bit, let's stir. You know what? I bet you some of you are thinking, there's too much water, it's too much water. But do you know what I have to say? Come on, be in my house. And now, the next phase is called eggification. So I'm gonna add in my ground egusi. I ground this with onions and a bit of smoked fish. And I love this. The reason why I call this eggification, because this is the step that if you do it right, you get that lovely eggy texture in your egusi, which I love. Absolutely love it. Yeah, eggification. So now I'm going to leave that for about 20 minutes and let it eggify. And I'm going to put a lid on it. Can you see what I mean when I say eggification? It's gone lovely and eggy, and I'm happy with that. I'm just going to give it a little gentle stir and add a little bit of remaining stock, little bit, just to give it a little bit of moisture. And then I'm going to add in my obstructions. So I've got cow foot, I've got sheep mix, I've got stockfish, I've got dried fish, that's barracuda, I've got shaki, and I've got pomo. So many obstructions. So I'm going to put that in, give it a stir, and leave it for a few minutes. Yeah. I probably should have used a bigger pot actually, but hey, it's gonna work. It must fit. Okay, so I left that to simmer for about 5 minutes. And now I'm going to add in my kale. Yes, I know you're gonna say that it's not gonna fit, but don't worry. Once it is steamed down, it will be fine. So I'm gonna just put in my kale and leave this in for about 5 minutes. Oh my God, guys, it's ready. It's ready. Look how delicious that looks. So guys, I'm gonna have a taste and see what it's like. Oh my God. Oh my God. Guys, this is a correct egusi soup. It's so good. But we're not gonna eat it now, we're gonna eat it a bit later. Later on this day, this evening, I think, yeah. So there you have it, guys. This is my very, very, very correct egusi soup. Don't mind the racket, my husband's doing hoovering. Anyway, so thank you for cooking with me this early morning. Guys, if you like this video, make sure that you like, share and subscribe. Making sure that you hit the notification bell so you know when the next video drops. If there's anything that you want me to cook, just put it in the comment section below and I will endeavor to do that. So guys, see you in the next video. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Mwah.